time for Mayor Monday. We're looking ahead to a new year with a major suburban community in Clackamas County.
The city of Gladstone, located just south of Portland, and one of the biggest topics that they're dealing with right now, proposals for tolls on Interstate 205. And joining us live with some updates for the community of Gladstone, Gladstone Mayor Michael Milch. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Emily. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for being here. Well, we're talking about I-205 tolls. I know that you and Oregon City, this has been a big topic for both of those communities. What are your concerns about tolling, and do you think there should be tolls on I-205?
The immediate concern we have in our community and the other adjacent communities to I-205 is the diversion of traffic from the freeway into our communities. There's a lot of that happening already. So that's where it starts. And we know that with tolling, if tolling happens, it would only get worse. Tolling is not going to reduce congestion as promised. It will only move the congestion to local streets where statistics show it tends to be much more dangerous. Accidents that happen from cars that have diverted into local streets tend to be 6 times more dangerous than on the freeway. When the governor put a pause on the collection of tolls, they formed a special subcommittee in the legislature to look at this issue a little more closely. And at first, it looked like all they were going to do was sort of, flesh out the details of how it was going to be done. But to their credit, that subcommittee has had some hearings in communities around the Portland metro area, including Clackamas County. We had one here in Gladstone just on Saturday. And they're starting to hear from the community about a lot more concerns about the financing of this plan, about the viability of it. And we had a big turnout in the Gladstone High School auditorium of people from the community who wanted their voices to be heard, and I think had a good opportunity to be heard by that subcommittee.
You know, the question remains, as populations increase, as tax revenues potentially decrease, how are we going to fund infrastructure? What are some of the ideas to control congestion on those roads? Are there any alternative plans coming out of this committee that would have your support?
I'm one of the people who I think I support the idea of a vehicle miles traveled tax or fee. I think most people agree that we ought to fund the roads in proportion to the amount people use them. Gas taxes have done that for us for a long time. The amount of revenue generated by the gas taxes and the purchase power of that revenue has declined in recent years. But Oregon has had an experimental program, a pilot program for more than 2 decades that charges people based on the number of miles that they travel. Now, some people seem to have privacy concerns about that, but it could be done with odometer readings on an annual basis rather than actual tracking people's paths and where they go. And I think that that's a more appropriate way of funding this. And I think that the committee, when I testified before the committee on Saturday and told them they really need to be open to a variety of options. Some people say tax people's tires. The bigger your tires, the bigger your vehicle, the more load it puts on the road. So if we paid a tax when we purchase our tires, it would be somewhat proportional to the amount of road use we have. And that would be another possible source that people have suggested.
Are you against tolling altogether? Because it's not just I-205 where they're talking about tolls. We're talking about tolls, possibly on Highway 26 on the west side of Portland, as well as 217, maybe other major thoroughfares that are being tolled. What do you think about the concept of tolling in general as a way to raise revenue?
When I testified on Saturday, I described it as an East Coast solution to a West Coast problem. Some of us who've been in other states on the West Coast have seen tolls of roads that were specially built to bypass congested areas. And if you pay to get on that road, you save a little bit of time. And that's an approach that people who say some tolling would work, that's an approach to tolling that might work. But if tolling works better on the East Coast because you have more densely populated cities, you already have in place a good network of commuter trains that people can use. We don't have those alternatives here in Clackamas County, especially. We can't say, well, instead of paying the toll, I'll hop on a commuter train. It will take me from Gladstone to Beaverton. Well, there is no easy way to get from Gladstone to Beaverton on a commuter train or other forms of mass transit. So when we don't have the options for people and we're planning to toll all 3 lanes, it's just not a good approach. It won't be effective. It won't reduce congestion, and it won't solve the climate issues that we're also trying to work on.
Yeah, these are big issues, big conversations, ones that are going to continue throughout the new year. Mayor, we appreciate the updates, and thanks for sharing your perspective this morning.
You're welcome.
And to stay up to date on what's happening in Gladstone and communities all across the area, you can check out our previous Mayor Monday segments on KOIN.com. Just click on the AM Extra tab. It's 7:40 on this Monday morning. Coming up next, a chance for skiers and snowboarders